We are in the Amud Yomi Shiur of Maseches Kiddushin, Daf Samech Hey Amud Aleph. The topic that we're learning today is the topic of, can one aid be enough for Kiddushin? A person said Eret Mukodesh Esli in front of one aid, right? Not two aidim. And the both Chosan and Kala, both men and women, agree that they're married. There's no argument, right? So on one hand, you can say all's good, although we know we usually need two edim in halacha for most purposes, right? Maybe here, right, we're not trying to, and two edim are necessary when one may deny the other later on. So then the two edim would back whoever they back is the winner, right? Let's say we are partners and we broke the partnership. There has to be two edim that in case we're going to see this case at the end of the shiur today, in case there's a chas v'shalom argument between us, the two edim will be like, they're the decisive factor, they're the objective onlookers. But both chos and kala say it's okay, right? Meaning they're married, fine, no argument. And then what? One aid is there, good enough. Or maybe no. Or maybe really it's not good enough. Maybe you need to have two edim. Why? Al pi shnayim edim yokum dovo. It says about regular halachos of choshen mishpat al pi shnayim edim yokum dovo, and it says lo rebecha ervas dovo. So dovo gzeras hakosov. You need two edim, just like you need a man, a woman, a ring, a rabbi, whatever. You need all the props there, part and parcel of kiddushin. So too is the edim. That's a question. So now we seem to be saying more and more. There are more opinions. The opinion of Shmuel, we said, "Ein choshishin l'kiddushav." Shmuel is quoted as saying, we'll see other people also, that we're not concerned about such kiddushin. Kiddushin of one aid are not kiddushin. You have to have two aidim. That's just part of the business, right? Regardless of what the chos and kala say. That's the way it is. So now, Eisive. Now we're going to question that from a Mishnah, the 8th parak of Gittin. Very interesting case. A man divorced his wife, and later on, even much later on, Velana imoy bepundaki. She went with him to a hotel overnight. Okay, interesting. Yeah, they went to a pundak, an inn, or a hotel, or a tzimmer together, and we don't know what they did over there. And I'm not joking. We don't know. So now, listen to this very, very interesting application. But Shammai say she doesn't need a second get from him, meaning we don't assume that they got married in that, holiday vacation place. Soon I'm going to explain. Basilal says she needs a second get. The question is, what's going on here? I can understand they may or may not have been doing something together. Marriage? Which marriage? There was no what? Well, let me give you a lot of background over here. The story is as follows. We're talking here basically about a man and a woman. I want to ask you a question soon. Be alert. Yeah, soon a quiz. Quiz is coming. A man and a woman. In this case, it's divorced people. They had yichud. That we know. They went together and had yichud in the room, meaning they were close together in a closed room, nice hotel somewhere. Now, let me ask you a question. We all know that it's osur for men and a woman to have yichud together, right? Let me ask you a question. You'll be the poiskim. Yeah. Let's say a man and a woman had yichud. It's time, I don't know, a bank clerk closed the door with the bank manager. We don't know what they did there. Maybe there was real business. Or maybe they just discussed the finances of the bank and they wanted to have the door locked. Yeah. Of course, it's osur. But let me ask you a question. That woman is married. Is she allowed to be with the husband now? Or is she assumed to have bia? What? She is allowed to be with her husband. I'm sorry I'm retorting so quickly. Don't have time to continue the game. The answer is no. Normally speaking, when a person has yichud, although it's osur, it's not assumed that there was bia. Otherwise, a lot of chiloni people or people don't keep yichud would be osur on the husbands, and that's not the case. Let me explain to you why. When the Torah talks about soita, the Torah says only when the man told his wife, I'm warning you, don't be misyached with that guy. I don't like your contact with that guy. Too close for comfort. And only when with in front of an aid, right, or two aidim, the shaila, kinui, and then there was tira. Then she's also on her husband, unless they go to Beis Hamikdash for the ceremony. Hashenkin regular yichud, although it's author, it's not automatically assumed that every yichud led into real bia, right? And that's why the woman, b'diavad, is mutter to her husband. However, there are exceptions to this rule, and this is one of them. What's the story over here? These are not strangers. These are people who got divorced with each other. I want to ask you another question, not in halacha. From your life experience, most of you are older than me. Do you know of divorced people who, after the divorce, dafka not from the frum world so much, after the divorce, they remain good friends. And sometimes they feel more comfortable with each other after the divorce because they're not so pressurized anymore. Yes, I know such people myself. Yeah, they're okay, they're friendly, and says the Gemara in Ksubas Daf Chaf Ches. The Gemara says a divorced woman, once she remarries, she's not allowed to live in the same area in the vicinity of her ex, of her first husband. Why? Because it says, Rashi there says, and also in Yevomes, Mekira berimizoisa vekritzoisa. She knows his sign language. She knows when he goes like this and goes like that, she knows what he means. He has intimate language that she knows. In other words, sometimes the couple remember the good old days. They got divorced, okay, because she got on his nerves, he got on her nerves. But maybe when it came to intimacy, they had a nice time together. And because there's a chashash that a couple after the divorce are, funnily enough, familiar with each other. It's called liboy gasba, over familiarity. And that's why when a man and a woman are divorced, but we see them together going to the hotel, that would make it much worse than other people going to the hotel. If you see a regular, by the way, we're all talking about frum people or otherwise kosher, yeah? You see a kosher guy going with a kosher girl to a yichud room. I don't know why he does that, but I wouldn't right away assume it's bia. I don't know, he's talking to her about something very private, money. I don't know, she's a financial advisor. Mashe'en ken, when it comes to the divorced people who already have a past with each other, they are more likely that something really went on in there. So what does that have to do with Kiddushin? I'm not really answering the question because we're saying over here that the Basilal say, and Basilal Zalocha, she needs to divorce him again. Why divorce? Oh, here comes another point. Again, we're talking about decent people. And when a person really wants to have relations with someone in a decent way, how would he do it? Mekadesh bebia. He told her before they got into the room, Areat mukudeshesli bebiazu. It's true one shouldn't do it, it's so daf yud base, but me'ikar din, one valid way, one of the three ways at the very, 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 very beginning of the Masechta, one of the valid ways to get married to a woman, and me'ikar din is kosher. He tells her they're fully dressed, and he tells her Areat mukudeshesli bebiazu. And then they go into the room, they do what they do, and the bia is for Kiddushin. Now she's his wife. He misses her. They're remarrying, and they can't wait for anything else to happen. And that's the concern of Basilal. Basilal say this is called in Gemara language, as we'll see later, an Adam Oise Bilosa Bilas Znus. A person stam who's a decent person, unless known otherwise, his Be'ila is not Znus. He's not stam looking to have Be'ila or promiscuity, he has self-respect. And therefore, since it's likely there was Be'ila, because these are divorced people who had contact and they're going together to the hotel, and there was Yichud, this is already too bad. And now you're right, Alan. In this case, we assume there was Bia, according to Basilal. Elamai, we don't assume there was Tam, excuse my language, hanky-panky, but we assume that this was real marriage. Says Basilal, great. You guys need to get, she needs not to get a get from her husband, say Basilal, and the Shammai are not concerned. Was a little bit of, no, I gave you the fast forward, but this is basically the story in general. Okay? Now, frag the Gemara, and of course the question you should all be asking, we know that the story is about Eidim. What are all these assumptions of Basilal Bes Shammai? Were they alone in the hotel? Were there Eidim in the hotel? What are you talking about? Which room do we have to maneuver here? Eidim, that's a question. Echidami frag the Gemara. If there are two Eidim who saw them going into the room, and or even better, saw him being Mekadesher, they saw that he told her at Mekudeshesli, right? They saw that there were Eidim on the Kiddushin, right? Even if there aren't Eidim on the Rat Mekudeshesli, maybe, but we assume it was Kiddushin, you have to have Eidim at least on the Yichud. Then, what's B'Shammai's reason? If we have two Eidim who know that they were there for Bia, and we know Bia is not Znus, how can the Shammai say there's no Kiddushin? There were Eidim. If there are no Eidim, right? If there are no Eidim to testify there, then Who cares, right? There are no edim. There's nothing doing. How can Basila say that this was second marriage to Rubia? There were no edim. Elalav. You know what we're looking for. What's a sugya? What's the title of a sugya today? One aid. Elalav be'ed echod. Must be there was one aid. You know why it is forbidden? Yeah. You know why it's aid echod? Shnehem moidim. And that's a machlekes. Very good. We're talking here about one aid who saw her miskadeshes bebia. He doesn't have to see the bia, by the way. All he has to see is that the man told her at mukadeshes li. With what? One aid saw that outside the room they were serious about getting married again. They got into the room and locked the door, and we know that that's what they're doing there. And therefore, aid echod is what? Aid echod who watched the kiddushin, and the two people agree. Basila say, tick, it's kiddushin. And the Shammai say it's not Kiddushin, and we follow Besilel. Bad news. Yushmuel told me that Ed Echod, even with the consent of both adults, we say it's not Kiddushin. Here, seemingly, that's a Kiddushin. Because otherwise, if you have 0 Edim or 2 Edim, then there's no room for Machlokes. That's what the Gemara wants to assume right now. According to you, now we're retorting back. According to you, the one who's asking, Ema Seifa, listen to the end of that very same Mishnah in Gittin. What does the Mishnah say further on? What's moidim ben izgarsham in the erusin? What's izgarsham in the erusin, my friends? Tell me. Let's say she was divorced from him without them touching each other. Erusin means, by kosher people, there was ring on the finger. She was eshes ish, but they're not living together yet. And they were in that situation for a whole year. Right? And we discussed it yesterday. Some people get divorced before they even get to consummate the marriage. Now, if that was the case, these were people he gave her the pruta, there was kiddushin, and then they got divorced. Are they familiar with each other? Kalila. They never touched each other. And then they went to the hotel together after the divorced without consummating the marriage the first time. Then everyone agrees she doesn't need the second get from him. We don't assume there was bia when they went to the hotel together. Why? Because you saw the words I told you, en liboy gasba. In other words, he's not over familiar with her. There's no over familiarity because they still are ashamed of each other. These are regular frum people, Shomer and Nagia, and they're not so comfortable with each other. And even if they close the room, that's back to the rule I told you at the beginning. Stam, a regular guy and regular girl who are not in touch with each other, they don't feel comfortable. And therefore, just because there was yichud, there's no assumption that there was bia. And then even the Silal agreed there was no bia, no kiddushin. Let's continue now. But if you want to tell me the one aid is believed and there was real kiddushin there, who cares if it's Elsin or Nisuin? What do you care? If you tell me that there was one aid who saw what? That there was real marriage there, right? And you want to tell me there was one aid who said that he said to her at Mukadeshis Libabia, and both Chosan and Kala says, yes, we were there for Kiddushin, not doing stam hanky panky, then who cares Erusin or Nisuin? It's just regular marriage. Who cares about their past? Ella. So what is the machloikis? So now Shmuel is out of danger. Now we're okay. This sugya has nothing to do with the Eid Echad. Leave Eid Echad alone. So what is the machloket b'sham and b'silel? Och b'mayaskinan kigon deika Eid Yichud v'leika Eid Bia. We're talking here about a situation where nobody mentioned marriage there at the hotel. No. There were two Eidim. There were two Eidim who watched them going into an empty room. There are two men who happened to be there in the corridor, like the hotels are, and they knew that the room was empty, like Eidei Yichud. And what else happened? They saw the man and the woman who are each other husband, ex-wife, and they saw them going into the room. They did not see the bia. They just saw the Yichud happening. Normally, let's stop right now. Normally, if my friend and I see a man and woman going into even hotel room or office bank or whatever, and they close themselves together, we usually don't assume the worst. It's an avera, and we're concerned maybe it will happen, so don't do it. But we don't assume b'di'eved, that there was bia normally. However, in this case, it's a machloikes. The Shammai Savri, the Shammai think, the Shammai say, loy amrinan, we don't say hen ede yichud, hen ede bia. The Shammai say, well, just like by other people, so too by the divorcees. We do not say that ede yichud are automatically ede bia, right? We don't say that. We don't assume that just because a woman and a man were together alone in the room, beyichud, it's not automatically assumed that these edim already ki'ilu watched bia, they know of bia. Okay, but still, so that's b'shamai. So she does need another get. No bia, no get. Stam, they went to the room together and they played chess. Basilal savri, Basilal say, amrinan hen en edichud, hen en bia. Oh, now let me explain. Basilal say no. Although normally Ede Yichud are not Ede Bia. We do not assume the worst right away, but because, back to square one, because this guy was her divorcee, not from Erusin, from Nisuin. They lived together. They had relations together for a while. They know each other all too well from the past marriage. Say Basilel, this is much higher risk than other people. When I see them going into the room, that's a different story. And there, if I saw Yichud, it's as if I saw Bia. Now, are these people sinners? Are these people stam doing shtuyot? No. On the contrary, I'm down the schus. And I assumed an ein adam oisabilas nus. So what are they doing in the room if we assume there's Bia? It's Kiddushin Bia. We know now that this Bia is interpreted as Kiddushin. He probably told her in the room, now she needs another get. Now we assume she's married, and that's Basilel putting all the facts together. And now we can very beautifully understand the end of the Mishnah. Continue reading. Umoidim. Now you understand why Basilel agreed to Beshamai. Vada b'nizgal shemina erusin. The lomrin an henedichud en henedibia. Mipnei she'en liboy gasba. Now we understand very nicely the end of the Mishnah. In case there was just erusin, all that happened between them was shiduchim, all very kosher and frum. Nobody touches anybody. And what? And he gave her the pruta. She became his eshes ish. And they said goodbye. And then they really said goodbye. Then he gave her a get. But then nobody was, no relations, b'chlal. Only bagasba. He still feels, intimidated and like more distance from her. And therefore, in such a case, even Basilel would agree there was no bia. No bia, no kiddushin. Why did they go into the room? They wanted to, I don't know, discuss their previous life. They went into the room to talk about very important things. About the war from Iran. I don't know why they went there. Yeah, so now, because only by Gasbab. Now, says the Ritva here, just to remind you that this is true about people whom we don't know are interested in getting remarried. It's an assumption, right? Mashe'enken says the Ritva, in Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis, the Ritva said, and he's reminding us of this over here. So the Ritva, what happens when you have marriage b'bia lechatchila? A man and woman come and tell you, we are interested in doing Kiddushin Bia for whichever reason. Okay? Kiddushin Bia. Now, and the chosen tells her outside the door, Harei at mekudeshes li bebiazu. No ring, no, nothing physical. And she says, great, amazing. She doesn't say anything. She agrees. They go into the room. The Adim saw they saw him saying to her, they heard him saying to her, at mekudeshes li. They don't have to see the Bia inside. They assume that the Bia happened. Why? Not the same. By regular people who are not married, never were married, only Erusin, yeah, then what? We don't assume the worst. Mashenken by Kiddushin, it's not the worst. That's what they want. And therefore, you don't have to see them actually having relations there inside. All you have to see is them coming in and him telling her Kiddushin. That's all. Mashenken over here, when we don't know what happened, it's up to assumptions. Say Basilel, if they had intimacy before they were married, we assume that what they're doing inside is real deal, real business, and therefore it's marriage. It's mamish that's kiddushin bia, so she needs a get. However, if all they had before was kiddushin without nisuin, without real living together, then what? We don't assume that, and there's no marriage. Very good. Okay, to stay there. Fine. Amar Bitzchak, back to our sugya. So far, 1 second, please. So now, let me remind you, let's not lose sight. We are learning now the sugya of one aid being present at the Kiddushin, and both parties agreed that there was Kiddushin. So far, the wind is blowing in the negative direction, that this is not considered as Kiddushin. That's what Shmuel said. Let's continue. More opinions on that matter. Omar Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marta mishmei de Rav. Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marta quoted Rav saying, "Amekadesh beid echad ein choshish on the kiddushav v'afilu shnei moedim." Loud and clear. Yeah, it was kiddushin with one aid, right? Both chos and kala say, "Oh yes. It was kiddushin." That nice old man, the aid was there. Nothing, no chashash. She doesn't need even a get as a suffix or as a chumrah. Amar Abba bar Rav Huna. Now continues the Gemara with another statement. Amar Abba bar Rav Huna, Amekadesh beid echod. You know what's the din if a person was mekadesh in the presence of one aid? He's quoting that Beid Din Rabba, the great Beis Din said, Rabba, great. You know what the great Beis Din Paskin, what they said, the Badats, the great Beis Din, and Choshesh Kedushav. Wow, it's not just me. The great Beis Din in Bavel, they said that there's no Chash Kiddushin. Frag the Gemara, Man Beid Din Rabba, who do you define as a great Beis Din in Bavel? Badats, Rav Rubin, Rav Osner, who? Answers the Gemara, Rav. Rav, he was the top dayan, he was the top person there, and he paskened that this is not considered as Kiddushin, as we saw before already the opinion of Rav. Some people say the same thing, but quoting other people. Omar Rabba bar Rav Huna, Omar Rav. Rabba bar Rav Huna quotes Rav as saying, "Amekadesh beid echod." If a person is mekadesh with one aid, that Beid Din Rabba Amri ein choshesh on the Kedushav. The great Beis Din, Rav is talking about a different great Beis Din who said nothing. Kiddushin with one aid, zero, nada. Well, Rav is not talking about himself as Beis Din Rabba. So Man Beis Din Rabba, who is that great Beis Din you're talking about? Rebbe. Oh, Rav is quoting Rebbe. Who's Rebbe? Rabbi Yehuda Anossi. You saw recently, right? Rabbi Yehuda Anossi is Rebbe. It's the same person. And Rebbe was the master of the Mishnah, as you call him in English, the prince. I heard people, Anglos call him the prince. Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, Rabbi Yehuda was the head of Klal Yisrael, and he said that Kiddushin with one aid are just not it. Finished. Nothing doing. Garnished with nisht. Next time you go to a chasana, make sure there are two aidim. Okay. Now, here comes a very, very interesting case. And by the way, you know that Rebbe was the Rav of Rav. Excuse the pun, yeah? Rav was a close Talmid of Rebbe, and so was Shmuel. Both Rav and Shmuel, they were Talmidim of Rebbe, Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, and they both moved to Bavel, different times of their lives. Shmuel first, and years later, Rav moved to Bavel as well. To do some kiruv, shlichut. Now comes a very fascinating case. I needed a lot of ritva over here, and now the Rishonim to understand it. It's not difficult to understand the pshat. The pshat is easy, but the svars are every step of the way. They're very interesting svars we have to deal with. Although the pshat is easy, I'm telling you now, it's not hard to understand what's going on. Just have to dig deeper. Meisiv Ravach Devoy Bar Ami. Now Ravach Devoy Bar Ami is coming to Meisiv to question what we just said. What did we say up until now? We have a whole array of opinions. Rebbe, Rav, Shmuel, all the big guns. What are they all saying? Kiddushin with one aid? Nothing, right? Okay, good. Comes a question from a Braisa. Listen to the interesting case. Shnaim Shebam Imdina Sayam. Two men came from overseas. There's no chazaka. We don't know the relationship between them, those two people. They came from Hudson Flats from I don't know, Equatorial Guinea. The Isha Imahem, and there was a woman with them in the group. The Chavila Imahem, there's a parcel, a package with them. The package is worth money, my friends. The package is money. I don't know what's in there. Gold, silver from the mines of Africa. But this is talking, yeah, there's money involved over here. Two men, one woman, and money. Sounds very bad. So now, listen to this. Ze Oimer, one of the men is saying, Zoi Ishti, that's my wife. Ze Avdi, that's my slave. This is my parcel, it's all mine. Kula Shali, it's all mine. Ze Oimer, the other guy says, guess what? Zoi Ishti, Ze Avdi, he says, it's my wife, you, mister, you're my slave, and the parcel is all mine. What does the woman say? Women also have what to say, you know? The Isha Oimeres, the woman says, Elu Shnei Avodai. These two are my slaves, both of them. The Chavila Sheli. and the parcel is mine. So interesting, no? This can be a good opening scene for a book, no, for a show. It's a interessant zach. Yeah. So now there's a lot of questions. I want to slowly dismantle here the business. I don't know why the Eved is even mentioned here, because the Ritzvah says that they didn't bring any proof regarding who's anyone's slave. I'm not sure it's mentioned from what I've seen in the Rishonim. I don't know. But Lamaisa, yeah, they each one claim that the other people are his slaves. They also claim about what? They say, each one says she's my wife. She says, I'm nobody's wife, you are my slaves. And also the Chavila, each one says about the parcel that it's his. Okay. So what's the halacha? No, what do we do? You tell me, guys. 1 second. Let's talk about marriage. Let's talk about marriage. What did we say about marriage? If a man tells the woman, "You're mekudeshes to me," and she says, "I'm not mekudeshes to you," does she need a get? No. Good. Quick and good. Quick and good. No. It's his fant. He's not allowed to marry her sister or mother. But mitzido, any man can tell a woman, "You're my wife." No, I'm not your wife. Leave me alone. As they say, lost get lost. Yeah. But listen to this. Sricha shnei gitin. Wow. She needs a get from each guy. Wow. Now, what about the parcel? This parcel is worth $1 million. $1 million. This parcel is worth money. Each one says it's his. Him, and her. What? They all say it's theirs. The parcel does need a get. Oh, he needs a protection because they all want to run on it. They don't need a get. You're laughing, but the men may need get from each other as a slave, as a master and a slave. But that's not discussed here. The goiva ksubosa mina chavila. Oh, which means, let's say that parcel is worth, well, not million. Let's say the parcel is worth 60, what? No, 60,000, 400, 600 zuz, 600 zuz. And so I'll tell you why. 600 zuz. So now, the woman says, all 600 is mine. Each man says that what? That the parcel 600 is mine. Now, I don't know yet, the Gemara doesn't yet know why they have to give her a get, but let's now assume that they have to give her a get. It's a question why, but that's what we said. They both have to give her a get. Now, regarding the parcel, the story is like this. We say Miman of Shach. She should charge her ksuba, collector ksuba, from the parcel, meaning she says to them, listen, guys, according to you guys, you just gave me a get, right? According to me, 600 is mine. You, mister, you say you're my husband and you gave me a get. You owe me a ksuba of 200. You, Mr. Shimon, you also owe me 200. So according to some Rishonim, she receives 400 from the parcel, 200 from each, right? And the rest is a different question, either Shnaim Ochzim, or you leave it in Beis Din Ad She'ov Elio. The rest you divide third to a third, and we don't know what to do with it. We leave it until we know better. Now, according to the Ritva, she only gets 200. According to the Ritva, these men are contradicting each other, right? So she can't get from both. The get is just for extra safety. So she gets 200, and the rest 400 are up to debate. So she's getting more than them, actually. She gets a ksuba. You gave me a get, you have to give me a ksuba. And therefore, she gets the ksuba, at least the minimal one, as you said, 200. And what about the rest, the 400? That's already, there are different options, different versions, which we learned about Mitzvah. The Ritva says, either called Alim Gvar, whoever is convincing more for Beis Din, or we wait until Leonovi will come, or until Edim will come, v'chule. But we're not concentrating right now about that. We're asking about the Gittin, because I'm very surprised right now. A man says to her, and another man says to her, that what? That the married her, she needs a get? Mapitom. That's not my story, says the woman. Frek the Gemara, and of course the question always boils down to Edim. Echidami, what's the question? Let's say both men, let's say both men say that they have Edim. Both men have Edim. Reuven has 2 Edim that he was Mekadesher, and Shimon has 2 Edim that it was Mekadesher, right? Both Reuven and Shimon have Edim, they're Mekadesher. Ooh, if so, Mimatzi Omo Elu Shnei Avoda V'Chavila Shani, can she say that's my parcel and these are my slaves? Let me explain. Let's say they both have 2 Edim on each side. Reuven says she's my wife and I have 2 Edim here. They came to Beis Din. 2 people, big tzaddikim with big white beards. And Shimon says I have 2 Edim that she married me, that I married her 3 months ago. Yeah. Then what? How can she speak against Eidim? Why is her voice being heard? There are four Eidim against her. Now, frag der Ritvo, right? Frag der Ritvo, what do you mean? If these two Eidim contradict each other, they're nothing. If two Eidim say Reuven was Mekadesher, and then other two Eidim said Shimon was Mekadesher, then L'choiro, these two Eidim are like in a card game, they're null. Boom, they're out of the board game. So maybe she's allowed to say what she wants to say, because maybe the Eidim are nothing. Says the Ritva, that's not true. The Ritva says not true, something very fascinating. He says Eidim contradict each other. They're contradicting each other vis-a-vis each other, but not vis-a-vis her. They both gang up on her, right? Her version is for sure wrong. In other words, when you have two Eidim who say that Reuven married her last Sunday, and the other two say Shimon married her last Sunday, one of them is lying, but one of them is not lying. So vis-a-vis Reuven versus Shimon, one is lying, one is not. I don't know who. I don't know. I mean, Sophic. But both Reuven's Eidim and Shimon Eidim, one of them is truthful, one of them is lying. We don't say both are liars. That's a chiddush of the Ritva. Not all Rishonim agree. It's a big yisoid. When you have two Eidim, one against the other, two groups of Eidim, we don't say, all you guys are just liars. No, one is lying, one saying the truth. We don't know which one. But clearly she's wrong. She has zero Eidim. It's worse than them. Therefore, how can she start saying stories? These are my slaves and my parcel. The Ravid argues with the Ritva, and the Ravid says, no, Enochnami, if the two Eidim contradict each other, then they are nothing. Zero, we don't listen to them, and she doesn't need the get. She's right. Mashe'en can hear, listen to this, this is unbelievable. Let's say two Eidim say Reuven married her a year ago, and then Shimon's Eidim say Shimon married her half a year ago. That's not contradictory. You know why? Maybe she married Reuven, divorced, and then remarried Shimon. So maybe they're both right. But she's for sure lying. Because she's against Eidim. She's against Eidim. Either two Eidim, four Eidim, she's against Eidim. How can she start talking against Eidim? You never have a man or a woman talking against Eidim. Elalav, Beid Echad. Ha. Must be what? That's exactly what we're looking for all the time. Must be. There was one aid, and that one aid was testifying for each one. One aid was saying that what? Reuben married her. One aid said Shimon married her. Oh, and now because there was one aid, because of that, there is no admitting on her side. Yeah, but the get can be given. Yeah, the get can be given, should be given in the Havamina. Yeah, and Rashi says over here, afilu eina moedo tzricha get. That's a chiddush. That's actually a bigger chiddush than what we said before. I found it very perplexing, and I don't know why. But Lemaisa, one person, the husband, comes with one aid, and therefore he's believed, even for her, and she needs a get. Wow. And each one is believed. The Reuven brings one aid. That's a bigger chiddush than before, right? Before it says one aid with both people agreeing. Now saying even more extreme, one aid with just one side, in this case the man, is good enough to consider it as marriage and require a get. And if and as long as she doesn't get, she's an Eshetish. And that's why they're believed more than her, and they have to give her a get. What? That's the question. That's the question. That's a question. Before ends, it's a very extreme difference here. Yes. You up until now, we're chanting the same song again and again. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Both Chos and Kal agree. I don't care what they say. No. Here, the only way to explain it is there's one aid, and since there's one aid, and there's a woman who's makchishim, so we say what? We say that they have to give her a get because of the Eid Echad. Is at the end of the day is believed. She's talking against the Eid Echad. There's a half a minute to believe her, but the maskana is no. There's one aid with the chassan, with the man. He's at the end of the day more believed than her, right? But you see, one aid does work. Yes, that's a time. That's a question. Yeah. What? We're concerned that the woman is married because of one aid talking in the husband. And yeah, of course, no, not a gunarat or shichalil. Yeah. Yes. That's the question again. Like your colleague is talking. That's the yeah. I can see you're holding very well in the sugya because it's very surprising for you. Thank you. Welcome. That's exactly the Gemara's problem as well. How can we say one aid is doing anything against everything we believed in up until now? That's a question. What? Yes, that's a Mesiv, exactly. Yes. Answers. And yeah. What? Mesiv is plural. Mesiv is singular. Mesiv is singular. Mesiv is plural. No, Mesiv is Bnei Yeshiva. Mesiv is an Amoira. Mesiv Amoira so and so. Mesiv Rabbi so and so. Mesiv is singular. Mesiv is general, as far as I know. Mesiv is they ask. You'll never see Mesiv Rava. Mesiv Rava. Maskif is an attack. Yeah, attacks. Yeah, or challenges in our scrollees. Weiter. Answers the Gemara. Big Yesoid. The Tizbero. Eid Echad Be'akhosha Mimeman. Says the Gemara as follows. One aid, these two aidim, don't forget, are contradicting each other, right? Reuven brings one aid that she's his wife. Shimon brings one aid, she's his wife. Eid Echad Be'akhosha. Eid Echad that's being mukhash, being contradicted by the other. Is he ever believed? Let me explain. We know that Eid Echad sometimes is believed, and for a change today, I'll broaden your horizons. When is Eid Echad believed? For what? That we always know. For Isurin, right? And Eid Echad is believed, let's say, to say the restaurant is kosher. We learn it from a woman. A woman is believed to say that she's not neither. She went to mikveh. How do you know she went to mikveh? Maybe she went to play tennis and she's lying to you. She wet her hair. Yeah. Elamai, Eid Echad, the sof olo. That's the source. Eid Echad is also believed for Shvuah. I claim that Yosef owes me £1,000,000. Then what? Then if I have one aid, you need to take Shvuah. Or a woman's husband was found dead. I didn't know he was found dead in Gaza, in the war, one aid saw that that's her husband. The body was distorted. One aid can identify that those are husbands for sure. We believe the one aid with many other conditions because of Aguna. We don't want it to be Aguna. Oh, even in cases, says the Ritva, there's a Machlokes Rishonim. I'm a Ritva fan, if you haven't noticed yet. Says the Ritva, there's a rule. One aid, even when he's believed, when there's another aid against him, he's not believed at all. Nothing. Even though by two aidim we saw two against two, they sometimes can work against the third party. When you have one aid, which is to begin with weaker, but sometimes we gave him power, even in those few areas when one aid is believed, if there's another one aid against him, kaput. He's not believed at all. It's as if he never spoke. It's as if he's zero. Mimela, the woman, again, back to square one, if there is a man who brought one aid and another man brought another aid and she says zero, she is right. She says, you guys are talking nonsense. Each one of you brought one aid contradicted is equal zero. And therefore, again, it's difficult. Why do we give her a get? She's not an aguna. She's a regular woman who says the guy's crazy. Okay, there are two crazy guys here. So what? Each one with one aid is zero. LMI, right? So why do we require to give her a get? Why? Ella, you know what she needs a get? Listen to this. To allow her to marry other people, everyone agrees we don't need anything shari. She's allowed to marry whoever she wants right now. Why? Because she's not an aguna, because she is what? Not shavia nafsha. They're coming to her with one contradicted aid, that's zero. And what about this lady? She said, I'm not shavia nafsha. I'm not saying I'm married. I'm free. I'm a single girl. So why do we need a get? This is what it says. It's all about three things: kesef, money, and geld. Let's say they argue about the chavila. They argue, which they do. One of the main arguments here is about the money. That chavila worth 600 zuz, who owns it? Now, if she wants to collect the ksuba from the chavila, she needs to get from them what? Gitin. Let's say these two guys were nice guys. They were nice people at the end of the day, in spite of all this funny situation. And let's say they tell her, you know what? We're going to give you a get in order for you to be able to collect the ksuba. Why? As long as we stick to our version, you're married to us. We don't know you ksuba yet. We didn't divorce you yet. Well, each one to his own. She says it's hers. So what if she says so? Who cares? But in order for her to receive the ksuba, she needs a get. Only after get, you get your ksuba. And now that arises the question. Arises is the right word to say. That arouses the question. That raises the question. Thank you. That raises the question. What's the chiddush? Of course. In other words, we don't know marriage, not marriage. To play it safe, if you want to get your ksuba, you need to get. Every child knows that a woman only gets a ksuba after she got a get, right? She doesn't get the ksuba michaim. Sometimes women take some of the ksuba while the husband's still alive if he allows them. But that's not the normal way. Definitely not in this case. Says the Gemara of Rabbi Meir. The chiddush is that this brisa follows Rabbi Meir. What's the story of Rabbi Meir? The Meir says the Omar metalteli mishtabdi leksuba. Metalteli mishtabdi leksuba, which means there's the machloikes between Tanakama and Rabbi Meir in several places in Shas, and Rabbi Meir is of the opinion that metalteli are mishubad, are, as you like to say, mortgage to the ksuba. Let me explain. Let me ask you a question. When a regular, between two men, regular situation, a man owes his friend money. How should he pay him? What's the preferred payment method to give him back? Cash, money, bank transfer, a credit card. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have money. What's the next thing you go to? Before the land? Metaltalin, very good. It says Mefush, we told Gemara Chinese toys, yeah. Even Chinese toys, even Subin, yeah, if I owe you money, I have every right in the world to give you, I owe you 1,000 shekels, I can give you odds and ends, even the ones you don't like so much, yeah, from my house, as long as that's what I have, and I'll give you 1,000 worth metaltalin, exuba, and if not, then you go to the land, then you go to the piece of land, to the property. By exuba, for various reasons, which one of them I know, it's a big sugya. I remember only one thing. A woman normally, the metaltalin of the men are not meshubad to the woman, only the karka. Yeah. In other words, a woman meikar adin, of course, the fita nakama, the non-Rabbi Meir opinion, a woman cannot go to the people after his death and collect from the metaltalin, only from the piece of land. Why? So I saw today the Meforshim explain, I really didn't know why. They explain a woman is samcha daita, she only relies on karka. For whichever reason, I'm not sure why a woman is different to men there, but a woman only relied on her all her life that he has a piece of land and that is kept and saved for her for the ksuba for security after he's dead or divorced. Yeah? Mashe'en ken metaltalin is not something the woman's supposed to take from. There's lots of questions before, but that's a general idea. Comes Rabbi Meir and says no, and that's exactly the story over here. This is a parcel. The parcel is not karka. The parcel has gold bars inside. It has Chinese toys inside. It has something else inside. This suitcase, and whatever is inside, yeah, that is meshuba to her ksuba. So once they play along with her version and they gave her a get out of the kindness of the heart, yeah, then we say that she collects from the ksuba. For the ksuba from metaltalin, which is only Remeir's opinion, negating Chachamim's opinion. According to Chachamim, she doesn't get any of the parcel. Why? Ksuba? No. Ksuba is supposed to get from a piece of land. If they have pieces of land, okay, that's a new argument. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going there. It's a huge ritva here. There's a whole issue about the parcel, even between two men. We learned above Metzia. When two people argue about one piece of property, not property, land, over metaltalin, there are at least three options. Either, yeah, you split. If they both hold it, they split. If they don't hold it, if it's somewhere which they have nothing to do with, but they all of a sudden decided that it's theirs, we say kol dalim gvar. Whoever's stronger is going to get it, verbally or maybe physically. We have a third option of yamuna chachi avelio. We have no idea what to do, but it should be someone's. It belongs to someone, but they're not holding it. It's good chazor for me. They're not physically holding it, but it's something that they have something to do with. It's not like they all of a sudden came to Beis Din. Like we have previous information, there's something they have something to do with it. Then Beis Din holds it in their coffers, in their storage room until we know better. All these options apply. But Rabbi Ellen, if she holds it and they don't, or one of them holds it and the others don't, then of course she has the advantage of chazaka. If I'm holding something, they came to Beis Din, they came straight from that bag all the way, she's with the package and they're not, or one of them with the package, then he has chazaka. The others, then he is the owner of the choira, right? Unless they bring chazaka. That's not the case. Nobody's holding it. Nobody's holding it. It's on the donkey behind them. The Arab taxi driver, he's holding it. And with that, so then they're equal. Otherwise, you're right. Let's continue. What? David. Who is the Eved? That's also a question. Interesting case. What's the halacha at the end of the day regarding Eid Echad? Although most opinions we saw before, actually all opinions at the end of the day said that one Eid is not good for Kiddushin, and yet we're going to see now someone who does argue. Rav Kana Omar Ein Choshish on the Kiddushav. Rav Kana joins the party. Rebbe, Rav, Shmuel, no Kiddushin by one Eid. Rav Papa Omar Choshish on the Kiddushav. Wow, Rav Papa, lone soldier, lone wolf. He says Chashash, not that she's clearly Mekudeshes, but if there's one Eid, which means I believe one Eid could be a technical idea of Ne'emonus. If they believe him, the one Eid, maybe she needs a get. She does need a get, says Rav Papa. She needs a get just in case. Now we are going to challenge a little bit the mainstream opinion of most Amoraim. We're going to now challenge it, addressing Rav Kahana. My daitich, what's the reason of you guys, you people, why are you so hot on the idea that Eid Echad B'Kiddushin is a complete garnished? Why? The Yolaft Dovo Dovo Mimamoin, right? As I told you a few times, there's a cost of Gzera Shovo, Dovo Dovo, boom. Just like Mamoin, money, Al Pishnai make him Eidim Yokum Dovo. So to buy marriage, Ervas Dovo, only to Eidim. If so, wait a second. You want to compare marriage to money? I'll play a trick on you. Imala alone who does Baldin Kemeidim Dami, big yesod, which you all know about that. What about a person who admits by himself and he says, yes, I owe you money? It's stronger than Eidim. Some Rishonim say it's as strong as 100 Eidim. Some Rishonim say it's as good as 2 Eidim. Some Rishonim say it's better than 2 Eidim. 100 Eidim meaning it's a very strong thing. If I admit that I owe you money, it's a very, very strong statement, which is halachically valid. If I come tomorrow and I say I'm changing my mind, I can't. If we come to Beis Din and I say, yeah, you know what, you're right. I really do owe you the 10,000 pounds, done. I'm fried. I'm in. I'm a sitting duck. Now I have to give it out 10,000. Yeah. If so, wait a second. Afkan odos baldin kemeidim dami. So to be married, if the chos and kala admit that they're married, yeah, maybe you don't even need one Eid, or at least with one Eid, right? Mimela, yeah, you should really relate to what they say seriously, right? They're minded. They're minded. You comparing it to money, and this is not Mesim Atzmarosho. If I say I sinned and I murdered a Michal Shabbos, don't listen to me. But to get married is not a sin. So if I say I'm an Eshes Ish, I'm a Baal of, she's my wife, I'm believed. I'm believed. Just like if I say I owe you $1,000, I'm believed. So why do you need Eidim? Why do you need Eidim at all? Or at least one Eid, whichever level we take the question. By the way, Rashi says something interesting. Rashi's opinion is, you know why Eid Echo, you know what does Baldin Kemeidim Dami? Because the Moide B'Miktzas. You know the story, right? If I claim you owe me 200 and you say you only owe me 100, you need Shvups. Very good. Why? So you see the Oido is taken seriously. You see that Mahodo on the half makes a difference. Omerle, answers of Kana, a huge yisoid. Hosam over there, lo kachayiv lachrini. When I say I owe you $10,000 or $1 million, I'm not creating any debt, any debit, any problem, any disadvantage to anybody else. I'm giving you $10,000 from my own account. It's as if I gave you a gift. Schuti, am I right? Yeah. I'm not causing any trouble to other people. It's a democratic world. I'm doing my own thing. I decided that I really owe Peretz 10,000 pounds. I'll give him 10,000 pounds. Nobody's losing anything. I don't know if my wife will say, yeah. I wish I had. Mashenkin over here. When a woman says, yes, I am married, she has no right to say it because she's creating a choiv, she's creating some kind of trouble to other people. What does that mean? Machlokes Rishonim. Rashi and other Rishonim say, if a couple says, yes, we're married, it has ripple effect on other people, the relatives. Maybe her sister always wanted to marry him, and now her sister won't be able to marry him. Because now, let's say there's Rochel and Leah. Rochel says, yes, I'm married to Reuven. Reuven's my man. Reuven's my husband. We got married. Who needs Eidim? I admit it's my life. No, it's not your life, Rochel. Now you made him, for life, also on your sister Leah. Maybe she wants him. On your mother and your daughter and everybody, right? Mimele, we say it's affecting other people. You can't say your own statement and hurt others, but your idea of Ados Baldin. Interesting. What both Shavi and Nafsha and Ados Baldin are, like Rabbi Tzvi Kushlevsky said, we are our own Bezdin. I am my own Bezdin. But if it's affecting other people, no. Listen to the Ritva. Mind blowing. And I'm very happy I saw this Ritva because that's what I told you yesterday. Says the Ritva, if a woman says, I'm married, and the man says, yeah, she's my wife, yeah, I'm his wife, finished, no Edim, or maybe one Ed, maybe not even that, I might that. Lo leinu, that woman, chas v'shalom, 5 years down the line, is finding a friend, chas v'shalom, and what happens? She's mizana with the other guy. Beis Din are going to kill, if they find her, if they really investigate, they'll kill her and him. Ooh. You're now creating a situation. If you're a single girl, it's lo tzanuam, or nobody kills somebody who's relations with a single girl. But she'enken, if you are a married woman by your own word, every potential man in the world which you may have relations with is going to die because of your words. That's kind of scary. And that's why you're not believed to say I'm married. You need how many edim? According to most opinions, 2, and according to one opinion, 1. Others. Nachrine, all men in the world. Any man in the world may have relations with her. Yeah. Marzutov, now interesting. Now we're going to talk about the necessity of 2. Yeah, good. Yes. Rav Kana would be worse. I hear Rav Kana. Okay. Now, yes, but the scoreboard shows 4 against 1. most people are against the one. Edechad. Yeah. Marzota, go to England, tell them you need to edim. They know. Weiter. Now we're going to talk about the concept of Shnei Edim, a short piece now, not vis-a-vis Kiddushin, but vis-a-vis business. Marzutra and Rav Ada Saba, there were 2 brothers, Marzutra and Rav Ada the elder. They were Bnei de Rav Mari Bar Isu. They were both the children, the sons of Rav Mari Bar Isu. Yeah, their grandson. They were sons of a ger, and now they were both sons of the same father. And he was niftar. He was a regular Jew already. He had 2 sons, and now they are coming to Palig Nichsayu Badi Adodi. They're coming to split the Yerusha, to split the inheritance. Atul Kamed Ravashi. They came to Ravashi with a halachic question. Amule, they told him, Al pi shnei edim omar achmono, the ibai lemeda olamatzi hadribu. Why does the Torah require 2 edim? A basic question. When the Torah says al pi shnaim edim, is it because ibai lemehada olamatzi hadribu? Is it because of the technical reason that if people want to regret what they actually said or lie, says Rashi, and say that wasn't the story, yeah, are 2 edim just a security to make sure nobody is lying? Yeah, you're selling, you're buying, you don't know the other guy. Many people look like nice people and they finish, and that being nice ends when it comes to money. I need 2 edim to make sure that the other guy will never regret and change his mind and lie to me. Danan lo hadri or lo hadrinan. We are 2 brothers who trust each other beautifully. We're loving brothers. We trust each other. We are Maraim. What better can it be? And therefore, we don't need edim. We don't require edim. We trust each other 1,000,000,000%. Why do we need to be matriach to edim? Let's quickly do the business between us. We don't have time for that. Or dilma, or maybe lo mikayim milsa ela besadi, or maybe not. Maybe there's a din Torah that even if people admit v'chulei, the halachic validity, there's no validity without edim, like Kiddushin. Maybe even for business transactions, such as splitting the Yerusha, maybe there you need kiyum milsa only with edim. Maybe the Torah says yokum dovo. What's yokum dovo? It will be established all the way to edim. Why? Just like by marriage, maybe it's because there's a custom. You always need to edim. Omar lehu, he told them, he answered clearly, famous line, lo ivru sahadi ela leshakri. Sahadi edim were only kind of created. The idea of edim was created only for the liars, meaning only to combat, to outsmart the shakronim. It says, Rashi, koifrim advarim, lo emer lo yichenhu. In other words, you don't need edim. If you trust each other, then you split the Yerusha with your brother, and your loving brother, tzaddik, tzaddik, tzaddik. You know, yeah, you've been knowing each other for the past 50, 60 years. You're okay with each other. You don't need Eidim. It's recommended if you don't know. Yeah, because then to avoid issues, and then you can only avoid the issue with two Eidim. The Shenken, when you trust your friend, you don't dafka need Eidim. It's not a halachic requirement, come what may. No, in case there's an argument. Let's say there are two people who are not loving brothers. There's you and this like nice looking, nice frum guy. We all know about them, right? And you do business with him, and then he's going to lie to your face in Beis Din, right? Then you need only two Eidim will get you out of trouble. No, but Shnat Yokum Dover, I'm answering your question. Yokum Dover, only by two Eidim, it's established in case of argument. If him and I stand together screaming at each other in Beis Din 2 years down the line, and he says, I don't owe you, I do owe you, we split, we didn't split, whatever, then only two Eidim can really be the decisive factor to say it was right. Where? In what? In get? No, and I'm not talking in Kiddushin. No! Of course, in Kiddushin Git you need two Eidim. That's a different story. We're talking business. In business, you don't need them. You need them to play it safe. They have a security belt. That's all. Safety belt. Yeah. Well, good. Weiter. Yeah. Omar, good. You fine, Alan? Yeah. No? Yes. To say, I know. There is a halacha, though, that when you borrow money, when you lend money and borrow, obviously both sides, you have to make sure that there's at least one aid. Could be even on small amounts or at least a shtar, because that could be lifnei iver. Because even the most trustworthy person may forget or this or that, and you never know if the person will give it back, and it can create problems. That's why don't lend money to people unless there is preferably two aidim, or at least one aid that can force him take a shvua, or at least a shtar with a signature. Yes, that is required. That is halacha, and it's not simple. You can do it without it because of lifnei iver. Okay, we finished here. Omer Abaye, that's a bit of a new sugya. We can continue that tomorrow, Mirza Hashem. What's tomorrow? Not yet Rosh Chodesh. Tomorrow is the end of Nisan. And we see Geula very soon. Still one more day to experience the Geula. Thank you to our friends in Torah Anytime and YouTube. Both of them.